Flat taxes have many variations. We suggest the Hall-Rabushka flat tax for Canada. This would mean a 15% personal income tax for everyone, a 15% corporate income tax for all corporations, and a 15% goods and service tax on consumption. The exemption would be $16,334 for all individual incomes. The Hall-Rabushka flat tax is essentially based on the principle of taxing consumption rather than income. That is, the flat tax is based on consumption because all savings and investment activities are exempt from taxation. Individuals and families would only be taxed on the portion of the income they consume or take out of the economy. Money put back into the economy in the form of savings and investments would be exempt from the flat tax. A flat tax would significantly reduce the costs to comply with and administer the tax system while raising the same amount of revenue as the current system. However, plenty of debate surrounds flat taxes, and it often results in concerns about fairness and equity. That being, it removes the progressivity that we currently have and it favors the wealthy more than the middle or lower class. As we saw earlier, the top 1% are already paying slightly less than the bottom 10%, which is ludicrous. However, to achieve progressivity in a flat tax, it is not necessary to have increasing personal income tax rates. Indeed, one of the primary benefits of the flat taxes is that it eliminates the negative economic impact caused by increased tax rates. That is, with the flat tax, progressivity is achieved while avoiding the disincentives for individuals to engage in productive economic behavior present with increasing marginal rates of return. Under a flat tax, progressivity is achieved through the personal $16,334 threshold, an amount of income all individuals are permitted to earn tax-free. While the exemption is available to individuals at all income levels, they constitute a much larger portion of income for Canadians earning a low or modest income, and therefore those earning incomes in the range would pay little to no income taxes whatsoever. The Hall-Rabushka flat tax proposed could significantly reduce the complexity of Canada's tax system by reducing the number of tax forms and eliminating nearly all exemptions, deductions, and credits in the current system. The simplification of the tax system, achieved through a flat tax, would significantly reduce both compliance and administrative costs for Canadians and the government. In addition, a significant portion of Canada's tax industry, including accountants and lawyers, would be redeployed to other, more productive uses. No longer would people need companies like H&R Block to do their taxes. Why? Because now a stone monkey can do it for you. Our last argument for the flat tax involves observing it in practice. In 1983, there were only 3 flat tax regimes in the entire world. As of 2008, there are 24. Most of this growth happened in the 21st century. One interesting fact is that the international experience with the flat tax demonstrates that tax evasion is significantly reduced. Another interesting fact is that a majority of these countries are formerly communist nations, most notably Russia, who has chosen to ditch the progressive tax in favor of the flat tax, which speaks volumes about the desirability of the flat tax system. According to this chart, Russia has seen significant growth in their revenues from income taxes using the flat tax. Economic growth supported by the flat tax has increased employment and incomes, thus raising government revenues. In Alberta, you pay a 10% flat tax on your income in addition to the federal progressive tax system. According to the Canadian Department of Finance, who provided this blurry pie chart, the richest 10% of the population pays 56% of all the income taxes generated by the Alberta government. The middle 40%, or the middle class, pay 41% of all income taxes generated in Alberta. Meanwhile, the bottom 50% of income earners contribute only 3%. So as you can see, the flat tax does not favor the wealthy any more than it favors the entire population in general. According to the Fraser Institute, international evidence, combined with traditional research on tax policy, shows clearly that Canada would benefit greatly from adopting the flat tax. The bottom line is this: as the baby boomers move into retirement, our government needs to be held accountable. It needs to adopt a long-term strategy in order to continue to be economically sustainable. In Canada, it is expected we need to come up with 2.7% of our GDP, or $46 billion annually, either through raising taxes and/or cutting social services. And we need to do this now. Although the issue of demographic changes, has not dominated the headlines, it certainly should not remain this way. We hope you enjoyed watching this presentation. Thank you for watching.
Pay taxes on my toothpaste, I pay taxes on my soap. Pay taxes on my loofah, I don't have one of those. Pay taxes on my car and my cup of coffee and cream. Pay taxes on my lunches, whoa wait, even my poutine. Finally get to work, it's payday, hey, but what the heck? It seems the government done took some taxes from my check. Well, that's when I got to thinking I've been paying lots, I fear. So how much do I work to pay my taxes every year? Well, I work more than 5 months a year until I'm finally free. I'm working into June before I finally work for me. Now that's an awful lot, my friends, enough, what do you say? Is it too late in the year for Tax Freedom Day? Now how'd they get that anyway? I worked for it, it's mine. I pay more in taxes annually than housing, food, and clothes combined. Sales tax on my hockey stick and on my puck, oh gee. Now don't forget EI and to pay the CPP. Here's a pie chart of the figures. See how these stats affect you. But be glad it's not a real pie, 'cause if it was, they'd tax that too. More than 5 months a year until I'm finally free. I'm working into June before I finally work for me. Now that's an awful lot, my friends, enough, what do you say? Is it too late in the year for Tax Freedom Day?